and welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live. As you can see, Ellie is not here this evening. She's a little under the weather, but we are here. And Lioness Lifestyle Live is a show where we honor a keto, carnivore, or meat-based woman, and they share their experience and healing journey with us. And we feel here at Lioness Lifestyle Live that it's the sharing of these stories that is one of the very best ways to help people who are sick and without hope.
And I am Adrienne. Welcome to tonight's show where we showcase different women who tell their stories of healing using meat as one of the ways to help them along their journey. If you have any questions, please put a QQQ or a question mark in front so we can get it to our guest.
Awesome. And now it's time to showcase this week's Roar of the Week. And here it is. We have it from Miss Jody 4. She just said roar. I had to make a lion emoji because she put one and it wouldn't copy, but I couldn't leave that off of there. So roar, lion emoji. What a great show. You know what, Miss Jody? I agree. We do have a great show. This is one of my favorite times of every week. And we look every single week for your comments. We hunt through those. If you drop them down below after the live stream is over, maybe we'll pick yours to shout out on next week's show. You just never know who we're going to shout out next week. But this week, we have an awesome guest for you. And I would love for everyone to please welcome Sami to the show. Well, hi, Sami. Welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live. We're so glad to meet with you.
Yeah, we have met. All right. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me on your brilliant show. I'm incredibly excited to have a conversation with you and your audience.
Oh, great. We would love to just get started. If you could tell us a little bit about your healing journey and how you came to carnivore. Why did you choose to go carnivore and how is that going for you?
Well, it's a kind of difficult to talk about why I found a carnivore because guess what, everyone? I'm a terminal cancer patient. I should be dead long time ago. But because of the carnivore, I'm still alive. Haven't dropped dead yet. To talk about my cancer journey, I have to talk about why I got the cancer to begin with. I'm currently 52. When I got the diagnosis, which was 4 years ago, I was 48. Still too young to get the terminal cancer, isn't it? Anyway, my diagnosis was, as I mentioned 4 years ago, colon cancer, stage 4, meaning that the cancer, it's not gonna develop overnight. My cancer should have started to develop when I was 20, in my 20s. Why 20 young Sami caused such a big deal is because of, I think, 3 elements. Would you mind me talking about the cancer journey quite a little bit longer? Okay, good.
Absolutely, go ahead, yes.
Okay, I got the consent. Prepare your coffee and the tea. It's gonna be a little bit longer. Don't go away. And I think that I got the cancer at the age 20, at 20 something, is because of the 3 reasons. Number 1, PTSD. People don't assume that, PTSD is some psychological issue, isn't it? No one assumes that that's going to cause cancer. Here's why. Why PTSD caused my cancer. 3 reasons. Reason number 1, PTSD. I was born in 1972, in a small town in Japan, very conservative place. My mom raised, my mom was single mom. Currently, single mom can be kind of a cool lifestyle as a female. But back then, 52 years ago, single mom was rather stigmatized. She was already stressed out. That's why she couldn't find the way to how to handle fatherless child. So at the age of 4, she decided to change her job. She decided to work overnight. She opened up her restaurant/bar overnight, meaning that around 3 or 4 p.m., he left my place, leaving me alone. And she wouldn't come back until next morning, where I already left for preschool or school, all of that. Meanwhile, I have zero caretaker, even 4. I was praised as good kid. Oh, look at Sami. Sami can look after herself. 4-year-old Sami, brilliant. That's 1970s, all right? And it was already very traumatic, very problematic, event for very, very young formative years of the kid. On top of that, one day, several years later, my mom got caught by Batman, like a cliche story. And that Batman kind of decided to live with us, though the Batman sounds like a Batman, not that, superhero. That guy really hated me. And he was a normal person during daytime. But at night comes around. He gets drunk. He gets incredibly violent. And throw things is normal. And what he did during the absence of mom, he cut his arms and legs to show me the blood. And the blood was always dropping on the floor. I still vividly remember the color, smell of the blood. It didn't, finish the story. The kind of the violence was escalating to the point that he started to try to kill me. It got to the point that where he finally put the fire on my place, in my place. And I managed to escape from the burning house. This is already problematic. The trauma didn't end. Sorry, keep going the dark story. Don't click away, everybody. And later on, my biological dad came to our place. I loved it. I loved him. And he came over our place once in a year, once in a 2 years, sometimes twice a year. But I ridiculously fell in love with my biological dad, not romantically, you know what I mean, right? And he always said, "Oh, it's fun to be 3 of us. I'm gonna come back our place next month." Naive Sami believed that. Sami, next month, Sami went to the nearest station, literally, they went there from the morning to late at night, every day, 30 days, knowing that he wouldn't come. I cried literally weeks and weeks. That is kind of a story. Then later on, my biological dad made an announcement. "Hey, daughter, we're not going to meet anymore because my wife doesn't like the idea that Sami and I are connected. So goodbye. This is the last time we're going to meet." And then I was abandoned. And this kind of a series of unfortunate events as a young Sami, it doesn't sound like does it cause cancer? Here is why. Stress, we are very good at, dealing with short stressors, like, doing heavy lifting or, being chased by tiger. It's not going to last hours and hours. My childhood stress was enormously big and long to the point that mitochondria got dysfunctional situation. That, by the way, everybody, cancer is not a gene problem. Cancer is a mitochondrial dysfunction. I'm going to talk about that later on. Now, this is one of the reasons got me cancer, PTSD. Number 2, believe it or not, I became a vegan kid at the age of 6, not because I was conscious about animal welfare and global warming, none of that. Just I had kind of severe skin issues, especially hives, like an allergic reaction. And one day, my mom took me to the dermatologist. That dermatologist, she decided that the reason I had a skin issue was, of course, I was eating animal flesh. Since then, no dairy, no eggs, no meat, no fish, none of those things from animal kingdom. I was just a thrive on the carbohydrate. Here's the thing. I'm vegan, and then my mom left me, and then majority of the time, I was alone. She left me piles of carbohydrate. What else I could eat, right? And then the extreme loneliness and the abundance of carbohydrate. And these are the perfect recipe for developing an eating disorder, which I developed at the age of 15. Very, very, very severe one, to the point that, it's consumed next 24 years. And back then, it was 1980. I went to the psychiatrist, despite the fact that psychiatrist had published many, many books, which are all about, mental hygiene and all of the good stuff. But that guy didn't know anything about bulimic condition. I was bulimic, overeating every day. And he told me my diagnosis he gave me was impulse liar. I was the person who can't stop eating and can't stop telling a lie. That was the diagnosis. I was given the 17 psychiatric tablets a day. 17. Of course, they didn't help. So I developed two life-threatening purging behaviors, which is going to get me cancer. The behavior number one, I tried to get rid of the stuff I ate through, the self-vomiting stuff. Sorry, kind of a little bit Greek. Second life-threatening behavior was taking laxatives. It was increasing, the dosage was increasing to the point that I took 250 laxative tablets a day. This is something more mechanistically attacking your colon. It's a no-brainer, right? That is a second reason, I was, incubating a very advanced terminal cancer. And the lastly, though, the fact that my diet, obviously, I was eating good old fruits and vegetables, the grain, believing that is good for us. I wouldn't say eating fruits and vegetables will cause cancer, no. But at least in my case, that was a big contributor for cancer formation. There are the three reasons I got the cancer, which started in my 20s. Going back to my younger age, during my eating disorder suffering days, I knew no doctors understood me, no caretaker helped me. So I had to study biology, biochemistry, and nutrition by taking a correspondence course. You two were too young to know the correspondence course to get a degree. We did before the internet time. All right.
I'm only 3 years younger than you. We're almost the same age. I was born in 1975. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go 70s. Okay, sorry. I just had to point that out.
Right.
I know what a correspondence course is.
Okay, correspondence course, ladies.
Yes.
And thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, good old days, isn't it? So because of that, I was able to come across a study which is all about ketogenic diet. Okay, these days everybody knows ketogenic diet. It was 1915. Nobody knows ketogenic diet. But the original idea of ketogenic diet was the meant for epileptic children with epilepsy. That was the ketogenic diet meant for. But an interesting thing though, it's going to be interesting to you. That I was always given the anti-seizure drugs for eating disorder treatment, anti-seizure. And then I was reading the journal saying that the ketogenic diet is an anti-seizure efficacy. Maybe it might work. And then I tried ketogenic diet, guess what? Eating disorder melted away. Incredible, isn't it? Even though still I was plant-based, ketogenic diet, whatever it means. But the thing is that ketogenic diet resolved my eating disorders. Yet ketogenic diet couldn't help my GI issue, especially bloating. My tummy was like a pregnant woman. I'm always skinny, right? And like a stick, and a prudent, big tummy. That was my figure back then. And then, but the thing is that 1918, finally, I came across the carnivore diet, only fatty beef diet. There are 3 benefits, okay? One is energy. Energy went through the roof. I was 70 pounds, or 32 kilograms. I'm 5'1", very tiny person. But switching to the carnivore diet, I really into fitness, started to lift the weight. And second thing is that bloating went away. It was the first time for me to see my tummy flood. Wow. Even day one on carnivore from the, vegetable low-end diet. And a third, the benefit was that at that time, 1970, Dr. Jason Fung, he was talking about, hey, intermittent fasting. And then, okay, I should do this, right? Then I tried the, intermittent fasting, but after 12, 13, 14 hours, I'm going to be incredibly grumpy. I couldn't longer than 13s and 14s. I couldn't. And I'm always so bitchy. I hate it. But switching the carnivore, you will forget about the food, right? That's the power of carnivore. That's a benefit. Then I thought, hey, look, I'm one of the most, like a healthy people on this planet. Until one day, it was 2021, April 7th. At the moment, though, I was stupid enough to little bit started to introduce some fibers because they say, hey, you need a fiber for, microbiome. And then on the day after eating a fibrous vegetable and a meat, I had a dull pain in my stomach. What is it? But it was intensifying to the point that next day it became excruciating pain. So went to the hospital. What they discovered was the fact that I was incubating incredibly advanced colon cancer, already spread to many organs. And I had a very intensive operation for that. My half of the colon was out, 1/3 of the liver was out, and 4 lymph nodes, appendix, some of the tissue were out. And after that, I was on chemo. Months too, they already discovered the metastasis to the liver. Then I was increasing the understanding of how less effective the modern approach for cancer treatment. But guess what? I wasn't depressed. Why? There are several reasons. Reason number one, I had known actually about application of ketogenic diet for cancer treatment way before my diagnosis. That's why I knew what to do with my cancer. At the same time, I sent an email to Dr. Saifi. Saifi is one of the most renowned, cancer biologist in Boston College. And he kindly replied to me that, hey, you are okay, just, get the low GKI number. GKI number is stands for glucose keto index. As many people know, the glucose feeds cancer. Low glucose, instead, having a high ketone, which cancer is not able to utilize. You're gonna be okay. I was rather chill out. Although it's kind of upsetting, yet I wasn't depressed. That's the whole point. Knowledge is power. And I kept going, becoming strong, improving my gym performance and all of that. And then around 2 years ago, I was invited by Dr. Sean Baker's, success stories and stuff. And then I was on his show. And then the thing is that because of that, the show went viral. And then here's the story. Sorry, I forgot about one thing. Before I was on Dr. Sean Baker's show, my medical team took a CT scan, TCT scans, which clearly showed that I developed a new metastasis to my lung. But you see, I'm an idiot. I couldn't realize the seriousness of the metastasis. And even in the Dr. Sean Baker's show, I kind of laughing, hey, I got a new metastasis, more than merrier. I was so stupidly talking about the new metastasis as though it was nothing. But the thing is that because of his show, I kind of increased thousands and thousands of new followers almost overnight. And one of the new followers, she is a cancer researcher, became my best friend, Pia. Big shout out to Pia. She's coming, next month, somewhere around. And she kept telling me, hey, Sami, did you check GKI? And then I was like, I did check the GKI 2 years ago. It was fine. But at the moment, because of overconfident, because of the idiocy, I didn't check the GKI number. But because she was so persistent, annoyed, yet checked my GKI, which was alarmingly high. But at the moment, I sudden realization, what have I done to myself? Since then, I was, not since, and then I tried to lower the GKI number, stick to that strict lion type of diet, high fat, and the GKI went down. Now though, I learned the many mistakes from I made, and also I learned the things it works, doesn't work. Now I'm confidently is able to share this approach for any cancer patient on this planet. So I hope that I answered the first question, why I ended up becoming a carnivore. Sorry.
No, that was a great answer and a complete story. And wow, some of that I'd heard before, and some of it I either forgot or hadn't heard before.
Yeah, actually, new story.
Yeah. I can't imagine being left alone at 4 years old. My generation here in the United States, I should say our generation, Sami, because we were born at the same time. But in the United States, my generation is sort of known for we call that being a latchkey kid, where your kids just leave you. But that was like when we were in elementary school, right? We'd go to school, we would come home, and we would have a key, and we would let ourselves in, feed ourselves a snack, take care of ourselves until our parents came home around dinner time. We're known for being in, but not at 4 years old, right? So I can't imagine. I can imagine that being, especially were you an only child, like you were the only person in the house at that time?
Exactly.
Wow.
But embarrassingly, I can tell you, because of the formative years, I had no caretaker, meaning that I actually didn't know the importance of the brushing the teeth or bathing. I was smelly kids, maybe, because, kids don't know how important to do hygiene stuff unless your mom, unknowingly tell you, right?
Right.
That's traumatic events. But the thing is, though, I'm sorry, I keep saying my story too much. I got the emotional code coach who takes care of my PTSD. And still, I must admit that I have a sleep issue, which is still going on, despite of the nearly 9 years of the carnivore. That she kind of addresses my trapped emotion I developed in my formative years, and kids being abandoned and all of that. Yeah, still of course, carnivore is a foundation, but it's not all of the diseases are merited by carnivore. We need to work on the different aspects. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Adrian, did you? Oh, go ahead. I was just making sure you were ready because I know you froze there. So go ahead.
sorry, sometimes when you use your phone and you go live partway through, it always does this where it starts making all this noise. It so totally stinks. Anyway, okay, so you were keto and then you went carnivore, and that's when you found out you had cancer. But but even carnivore, you continued to have cancer. So what has changed today? Do you still have cancer? How's it going?
Okay, great question. Someone mentioned that. Don't you think that your carnivore kind of almost facilitated their cancer growth? Nah, no. As I mentioned, my cancer formation even in my 20s, where I just eating buckets of fruits and vegetables, despite of that, carnivore helped my life. This is one thing I have to mention that because I keep getting asked. And then the thing is that, yeah, sorry, what was the last, Adrian's, question?
So is the cancer gone?
Oh, yeah. So sorry. My brain forgot. No, it was 2 years ago where I was on the Dr. Sean Baker's show. This is a moment. Still, I'm visiting my hospital, my medical team, periodically. But they say that, hey, look, you see, your lung cancer is becoming bigger and bigger. If you delay the operation a month, means a death. They clearly mentioned that. Of course, I'm clever enough to turn down the cancer operation for that cancer. Since then, I haven't gone back to the hospital, meaning that clinically, I still do have lung cancer and liver cancer, which were metastases to my original cancer, which is colon. And and also the another question I get asked is that, oh, you were on carnivore, still you developed the metastasis. There are two reasons. The reason number one, the first metastasis in my liver was happening during my chemotherapy. I don't say chemo causes metastasis, but they should be the greatest inflammation agonized me. And that could be the biggest contributor for new metastasis, in my opinion, not clinical statement. Metastasis number one. Metastasis number two, which I developed the liver where I was super confident or overconfident to the point that I forgot about that I was cancer patient. My focus was purely gym performance or hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means that I wanted to be big and robust and irons and stuff. And the general dietary intervention muscle growth is increasing protein intake. Everybody agrees that. So I delved into the high protein carnivore, ate a lot of lean meat. Here's a problem. If you want to increase the protein by eating beef can be more expensive. So I'm one of the peasants in Japan. I just switched to the beef centric to many animal products carnivore. I'm not saying that many animals carnivore is bad. In my case, when I eat monogastric animals, the animals who have only one stomach, for some reason, I'm not able to produce ketone. And that is one of the reasons. And high protein. I'm not sure the proper mechanism, but the excessive protein might produce the mTOR. mTOR is some growth factor effect, and kind of insulogenic, meaning that the high protein might help increase insulin level. Insulin is the growth hormone. The cancer is the uncontrolled growth. These elements, despite of the being on carnivore, you can worsen your cancer condition.
So part of your story that I found fascinating has to do with your eating disorder, which I believe you said was bulimia early on. Although I was never diagnosed with an eating disorder because I never went to anywhere to have it diagnosed. And I don't know that it went that far, but I did do like where I would like binge and then try to restrict my food and try to eat like almost nothing, or over exercise to get rid of it. But it intrigues me when you said, even though you were still plant-based, because that's where you had come from, because the doctor told you plants are healthy, you got to eat those plants. But even when you did a plant-based ketogenic diet, just upping those fats, I'm assuming that's what you did, helped that eating disorder. And it basically, it just kind of went away from your life. So can you tell us, like, what fats did you incorporate? How did your diet change at that point? Was it like avocados and that kind of stuff? I'm like trying to envision what it is, because when I started on a ketogenic diet, it was mainly meat with like some avocado and some, things like that. That's how I started. And then the plants kind of went away. So it's hard for me to envision what that would look like, a plant-based
I know, almost oxymoron to say that. Plant-based.
To me, that's what it feels like. Yes.
Yeah, it is true, because at the moment, though, I was subscribing the Dr. Gundry's and Mark Hyman's and plant people. And then the thing is that previously I was severely suffering from the eating disorder. I been on a literally zero fat diet. Zero. This is a story I kind of sometimes mention, is the fact that going to the McDonald's, then I ate my dinner McDonald's every day because I can control my portion, because at the McDonald's nobody kind of binge on McDonald's stuff, keep ordering the stuff. Too embarrassing to do that. That's why using the kind of a public eyes, I ate the McDonald's lunch, every day back then. I ordered French fries and burger and some tea. Let's start from the French fry. And I grabbed a lot of paper napkin, and one stick, I squeezed crap out of the fat many, many times, to the point that there is no stain. Then I ate like a cardboard tasting one. It takes almost 2 hours to finish this meal. And then the burger, let's go burger. Get rid of the pate, squeeze the oil using that paper napkin. Incredibly cardboard tasting thing. That's a fear. At the home, I didn't use any fat or oil. Everything I ate was purely rice or bread and some leafy vegetable. And sometimes I ate some fruit, but zero fat. Now I learned the ketogenic diet. Fat is important. That time, though, what I ate was the deep fried everything. Everything needs to be deep fried. You might be thinking, is it seed oil? Yes, seed oil. Even your brain is death or alive. Your brain starving. Whatever the heck, bat oil. I consumed bat oil, actually, mainly bat oil. Still, my body was able to produce the ketone enough to give my brain the energy. Finally, my brain got that energy. I think that people don't like my story, this part, because it's a kind of becoming mantra. Seed oil is bad. Seed oil is bad. Yes, it's bad. But if you find yourself being starving, you will take it.
We have so many parallels. There are statistics that people who get in relationships with narcissistic personality disordered people, or they call it NPD, that when they are either stuck in that relationship or leave that relationship and the abuse continues, it's like a mental abuse. Almost every single one of them has horrible autoimmune. And then you talk about the PTSD. And so I've had PTSD. To get myself to calm down, because I have to continue a relationship with my abuser, I had to go through some different types of And Christians don't like it, but there was like a tapping therapy to release things. Done any type of therapy, it's like a physical therapy almost to release it from your body? Or have you done anything to help with that PTSD, or is that something that still is there?
Okay, the good question. My PTSD has been taken care of by my emotional code coach, Sarina. This morning, I just had a session with her. And the way she addressed my PTSD was that I have thousands and thousands and thousands trapped emotion since little Sami didn't have a language to say, oh, please help me. I'm sad. I'm alone. That emotion was trapped. She released it using, was a pendulums and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she has been recommending me to do, of course, meditation and meeting and talking to inner child, which I couldn't do it until quite recent months because it was too traumatic to meet my little Sami. And because of her session, many times, and I was able to meet and talk to my inner child, and that things is very that interesting because I thought I was always having a sad emotions, trapped emotion, but meeting my little Sami is not the one Sami. I am collecting many Samis, Sami 4, 5, 6, 7, even 20 something. I'm kind of collecting many Samis and telling them, you are not alone. Even sometimes you allow them to say bad things to someone who, the hurt them. And the kind of meeting Sami, talking Sami is my current main session to tackle my PTSD. Yeah, but your approach is very intriguing. More physical touch, more kind of a strong cue, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's called EFT, and it's like a combination of like some sort of muscle testing and you do, and then it was just the weirdest thing. It was a chiropractor that did it, and he would say, okay, you've got something trapped right here. And my homework would be, and he knew exactly what it was. And he would say, this is because your mother abandoned you when you were a child. And you'd have to say, I am lovable, even though my mom left me or something. My mom leaving wasn't because I'm not lovable. And you'd have to like tap that space and release it. And this kind of follows that book, Your Body Takes Score.
Oh, yes. I read that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm going to have a, acupuncture or muscle release session in the sense that, without our consciousness, your body remembers the wounds and emotions and which we couldn't process back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So based on your story and the way you told it, it's a combination of factors, right, that you feel caused you to develop cancer. So I think it's great that you're going back to the very beginning because the PTSD was the first thing that you mentioned. And now you're going to therapy to address that.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, right. I know that's not easy either. That's not an easy thing to go back and face, I think. But I wanted to talk about the GKI a little bit more. So it's the glucose ketone index. And you sort of were like, shame on me for like, I knew about it. Dr. Seafried even told me about it. And then I got overconfident and ignored it for 2 years. But then I know, right? But then clearly, you're like, well, your friend told you and you checked it again. So what does that look like now? Do you have a goal for your GKI? How often? Tell us all about it. Like how often do you check it?
Goodness.
How do you keep it low?
Yeah, damn. I should have checked that. This day, to be honest with you, I haven't checked my GKI for months and months. Because after the incident, realized that, my GKI was high, switch back to the, high fat carnivore diet. I achieved the low GKI. By the way, low GKI number, I'm going to kind of a little bit, elaborate on the low GKI number. The GKI is a, index, the calculation, the as a cancer patient, we want to get that low number. Ideally, less than 2 and less than 1. You are absolutely good to go. And to achieve this, you have to be in a nutritional therapeutic ketone level. It would be 1.5 to 3, ideally. And your glucose should be always, averagely speaking, around 80 or maybe 90, somewhere around. By doing so, cancer, which is always hunger for glucose, they can't eat a lot of glucose because you are regulating, you are restricting a glucose. But meanwhile, your body, majority of the places are able to use ketones, which is by far more clean energy source than glucose. But mind you though, when I say this, even the people who have no cancer, healthy body, just wanted to lose weight, they don't need to achieve the low GKI number. Here's a problem. I observe some female population. They like the idea of the low glucose, high ketone, especially we got the eating disorder mindset. We want to be skinny for whatever the reason. And they try to get the higher ketones, which shouldn't be the problem. But what might happen later on is that your body is going to be very, very efficient to the point that you no longer be normally hungry, and you are going to eat less and less without you realizing it. It's kind of a common to see the under-eating among the female carnivore population. At least I can observe that, which is not the beneficial for this time of age. It could be beneficial for, millions of years ago, where food was always difficult to come by. Lowering a metabolism and burning a fewer calories, it was almost advantageous. You could survive than me who eats hell of a lot to survive. But these days, if you go to the parties and you overeat it, that's going to whack you because you are always running yourself in a very, very low calorie status. That is a slight danger. Other than that, nothing wrong about, chasing a nutritious ketone level, which is just a 0.6 or 1 to somewhere around. Am I answering your questions? I always, go on the tangent.
I recently went on a carnivore cruise with Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, and there was actually an entire club of carnivore cancer survivors and warriors on this ship. And do they reach out? Like, do you guys all talk?
No. I'm kind of a little bit independent outlaw.
They have this independent community on the School app, SKOOL, and they sent me a ton of information because I feel we should all be armed and prepared because it could happen to any one of us at any time. And then when you're in that room, they're going to say, hey, they're going to scare you into immediate treatment that maybe there could be another way, maybe. They talked about repurposing drugs. Do you do
repurposing drugs? Okay, the idea of the repurposing drug is the fact that these days they were talking about ivermectin and fenbenzodiazepine. Sorry, my bad pronunciation. I can't pronounce these are the compounds. They are supposed to be used for kind of an anti-parasite, killing a parasite. This is the name. But what they discovered was the cancer metabolism, which sometimes some cancers use glutamine as an energy substrate to create the ATP to grow themselves. That is why reducing glucose is easy. Be on a carnivore or be on a ketogenic diet, you can achieve that. But glutamine is tricky because whatever you eat, glutamine is in it. Vegan, carnivore, either way, you're going to get the glutamine. That is why to cut the glutamine, still we need to have a pharmaceutical intervention. Of course, the pharmaceutical especially I think China developed a certain drug to purposefully it created to reduce the uptake of glutamine. But the same thing you can achieve by taking an unpurposeful drug, like an anti-parasite drug. Actually, it does serve as such. That is why people take, and a cancer patient wanted to take the, anti-parasite drug, which I have been taking for 2 and 3 years. Yet, I'm a very lazy. I'm a lazy person. I'm very lazy to the point that very frequently I forget taking it. Then even I haven't taken the fembenzatol for I think 2 months. I'm incredibly lazy cancer warrior. Does that kind of make sense to you? That explanation?
Yes,
Adrian.
it does. And I think Jonathan's question here is a good piggyback off of that one. So Jonathan would like to know, which pain meds or treatments did you find effective or ineffective for cancer treatment? So other than, I guess, Carnivore and those other medications, are there anything else that you've found effective or not effective?
Okay, only pain medication I took was, during my hospitalization after intense operation. And the thing I took was, like a normal stuff, paracetamol. I took the paracetamol nearly 10 times a day, almost, kind of a bad dosage. And in terms of the daily life, I don't need any pain medicine for my cancer because my cancer doesn't give me any pain. I'm symptom free, zero symptom from my liver or lung cancer, whatever. Aside from my kind of a migraine, sometimes migraine hits, then I take the, paracetamol. That's it.
Okay. And he would like to say thank you for answering that question.
Oh, you're welcome. One thing though, there is a misconception that if you get cancer, you are always in pain. No. There are certain cancer like blastomas and let's say bone cancers and esophagus cancer. They tend to pick up a lot of pains rather than unlike the condition you are about to die. Normally, it's not necessary to believe that cancer patients are always having a pain. What give us a misery is their prognosis. They were told that, oh, you are going to die. Oh, you have to rely on this meds, this procedure, the radiation. That's the prognosis get you depressed, not the pain.
So I'm sorry, Adrian, I'm gonna do a follow-up because she said prognosis. I'm so curious because at the beginning you said I'm a stage 4 cancer patient and I should have been dead a long time ago. So that speaks to prognosis, right? So what was your prognosis? Have you outlived that prognosis currently?
Oh, sure. I was told that, originally I was told that stage 4 terminal cancer, meaning that there is no hope. Stage 4 means that the end stage of the certain disease, right? And I was told that the survival rate in 5 years is 9%. And I'm on the 4 years, on the journey. If I'm able to live 1 year longer, I start kind of survived, not the majority of the prognosis, let's say statement. Am I speaking English? I'm not sure.
Man, this is so weird. Christy, when you look in the chat, can you see the stuff that I'm posting?
Yes, I've seen a few things that you've posted. It looks like you haven't posted for a little while.
No, I posted a ton of stuff. Audience, can you guys see it? Because this brings up another topic.
No.
My friends who were on the ship with me said that as they shared different treatments on how to research and try to help yourself, their accounts are being shut down. And I'm sharing right here a whole bunch of links in the chat and you can't see them.
No, they're not there.
Oh, I
So
see.
they're not letting people share this stuff.
Of course. Everybody shouldn't assume that, the medicine is a business. They are not thinking about your health. They are thinking about how to improve your income or their business, meaning that if my approach is going to be the everybody's cancer treatment approach, I can go pharmaceutical companies and many medical practitioners go bankrupt. It's obvious. That's why they were terrified about these methods, these alternative approaches.
This is crazy. I literally have posted it in there and it's not letting you guys see it. I don't want this video to get suppressed, but I do want to put this in the show notes when we're done in the description. And I'm sorry if your video gets screened, but there's great stuff. There's a YouTube channel called talkingcancer.u4k. There's the school, it's SKOOL community for cancer warriors. There's howtostarvecancer.com. There's a website by Dr. Neil McKinney, and it's about naturopathic oncology. Anyway, when we're done too, I'm following you on
in the show notes,
and I'm going to be I want to send you some stuff, and I just realized I need to send it to Karen too. But they had amazing stuff, and we need to be sharing this stuff. So I really appreciate all that you're doing to spread this. And I hope that you're not being censored, but I would guess you probably are.
Many times. The YouTube destroyed my channel, by the way. Yeah.
I didn't even know. So, because I didn't even think you had a channel. Did you used to have a channel?
No, I kind of gave up.
Okay.
Imagine, that how kind of difficult to, editing your videos and captions and, description, all of that. And then put up 5 minutes later, shut down.
Wow.
Imagine,
okay, I know what I'm going to do. Christy, you keep taking control and I'm going to type it and pop it in a banner.
Do it. Okay.
We're going to be rebels here.
Right across the screen. Let me know when the banners are ready, Adrian, and I'll put them up. Okay, so we did have a question here for you, Sami. So they want to know, will Sami ever do a scan again or any diagnostic test to see if the cancer has improved or gone into remission any?
That's a good question, and one of the frequent questions. My answer is no. Why? Because if the cancer put into remission, I put it in remission, or cancer is growing, either way, I'm not going to take any medical procedure. Why bother? Even going to the hospital, my glucose should go up because it's incredibly stressful. Even see them, it's incredibly bad for my mental health. If I have some conditions like a pain or whatever, I don't know, the cancer symptoms, I might want to check that my symptoms. But still, what they want to do is kind of recommending me to, take on the surgical removal, chemotherapy, radiation. And the thing is that here's the thing. To take an image, what you're going to do? You're going to expose yourself to the radiations, and they are carcinogenic to begin with. I got the cancer. Why on earth putting the radiation on me? It's kind of doesn't make sense. It's mind-bugging to my ears. Oh, by the way, can I mention one thing? I studied a little bit about, mammograph. I haven't done it. The mammograph became really, really, prevalent these days. Everybody goes through. Mm-hmm. Do your own research. Since mammograph is becoming, like a normal screening test, it never has reduced the survival rate of the breast cancer. Even there is an idea that, kind of it's over-diagnoses you, or the extra radiation, or unnecessary treatment, 3 of which is incredibly bad for female health. I'm not telling that mammograph is bad. Just do your own research about the mammograph. That's it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help.
So I agree with that, and I'm gonna change. Oh, I think did we get rid of it? Wait a minute. Wait, I'm gonna change it for a minute, Adrian. Then you can put it back up. I'm putting on my tin. Oh, look, and they both go at the same time. Putting on my tinfoil hat, and so Sami, I'll just chime in just a little bit and say, when I first turned 40, because here that's where they recommended the U.S. that we start getting mammograms, and I'm currently 49. Yeah, I'm 49. Be turning 50 this year. But and I was very diligent about getting them. And then after going carnivore, I started learning more about other health things. And I've decided that unless I have any symptoms, like unless I feel a lump or like I'm just not going to do them. I'm not going in once a year. The last time I did go in, they messed up. Like they didn't get all the tissue in between the plates. And then they wanted me to come back and do another one like in a week. And I was like, I refused. I just didn't do. I'm like, I'm not. And I had been kind of reading some stuff. And I thought, no, I'm not going to expose my body to that again. Good point. I just decided I'm not. So unless I have any symptoms, everyone needs to make their own decision on this and do their own research. Like
please do on research.
But that's the decision that I made. So if I have symptoms or feel like, for some reason that I need a screening, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to do it as a preventative.
Oh, Christine, you are great. You are great. But everybody though, you can do it, touching your stuff and what is this one, and then you're gonna go to this and then get the screening. I think it's a fair, but that is why we shouldn't ignore that your body sign. That maybe you might find something.
Absolutely. So I have one more question, Adrian. I'm not sure how many more resources you have, but I do have one more question on my mind, and we're almost out of time here. But I was curious, how do you eat now? So you mentioned you were beef only, and then that got expensive, and you started to try to put on a bunch of muscle, and you wanted a bunch of protein, so you went to like all the different meats carnivore. How are you eating currently? Like, what's your main meat, and what does a day of eating, like how many meals do you eat each day?
Okay, quite recently I created what eat a day, like a typical videos and stuff, or let's say my macro ratios, my calorie intakes, all of that. Now currently though, because of the price hike in beef is no joke. That is why, let's say 19% of my calorie intake still come from very, very fatty beef. More than half is fat. That's the level of the fattiness. And I eat, 4 or 5 eggs as a breakfast. And I love crunchy stuff. That is why during my cooking, to stop my saliva, I kind of eat a dried sardine and put in a butter, make it incredibly buttery, fatty. And then also I eat kimchi, vegetable. Yeah, it's okay because it's fermented.
It is fermented. I've been looking for a clean kimchi. A lot of them around here have sugar. My grandfather, well, he was my step grandfather, but so before everyone like wonders, but my step grandfather was Korean. Cool. And so I'm very used to eating a kimchi, but when I look, I just haven't jumped. I found a few, but they are more expensive when they're clean.
Mind you though, my kimchi has sugar in it. But the sugar is going to be eaten by fermentation process.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard about that. I just didn't. I did find some without it, but I do. If I'm gonna have a vegetable, once a month I'll throw in like a pickle, some pickle chips, which they're fermented. So nice, if I'm gonna eat any plant material, it's generally fermented. It's very rare though. Somebody asked me recently, like, do you want any vegetable or do you have any vegetables? I'm like, it's very rare. Sometimes I'll think I'll want it. Like I'll buy an avocado, let's say, and then I'll end up throwing it away. I'll never eat it. So I don't crave that stuff anymore.
I crave veggies actually. I crave it. Because, let's face it, majority of my life, I lived with vegetables. I was vegan, vegetarian.
Yeah.
That's why still I'm kind of drawn to that. It's nice to eat crunchy stuff, veggie crunchy stuff.
Well, we are running low on time, but I did want to share your Instagram. I hope I can do this properly. I might mess it up, you guys. Ellie is not here. She's our button pusher.
I see.
I'm going to give this a try and see if I can find it. And it's not... Yeah, it's not popping up because I'm not under like our Lioness Lifestyle account, you guys. But She does have an Instagram. So Sami, can you share with us your Instagram handle so people can subscribe? And I think in the video description, I did put a link. Can you tell us what that is?
You can see that my stuff.
Oh, yeah, right there. Are you Sami?
Are you Sami? Yes, I am.
Awesome. So everybody go and follow Sami over on Instagram.
Yeah, say hello.
Yep, say hi. And Adrian, if you could count us down for our roar, I know I can do this button. I'm not going to mess this one up, you guys. So we would love for you to get ready to roar.
Woo, look at you.
In a minute, I know. Look at me pushing buttons. Ellie makes it look so easy. Get ready to roar. You guys are going to drop those roars in the comments, and the three of us lionesses on the screen are going to roar, and let's all roar together. Okay, Adrian, I think we're ready.
Okay, just really quick, I wanted to say all the resources I shared, that is just for educational purposes only. Of course, we're not doctors, but I think that all of us here are to inspire you to do research to take power in your own health. So
yes,
research at your own risk, because we're going to CYA cover our rare. Anyway, all right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Roar!
All right, guys, put those roars in the comments. I would love to get them on the screen. And while I'm waiting for those roars to come in, oh, look at you. You're doing it. Eric, we missed you last week. There's my picanha roar. If you're watching this on the replay and you made it all the way till the end, drop a roar in the comments down below. There are more and more of those, Adrian, you know, people watching the replay and roaring with us at the end of the show. So I am loving that. Thank you, everyone. Awesome. Okay, so Sami, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, everybody. We love having you, and everyone else, please, or Sami too, whoever would like. Tune in next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern or whatever time it is where you are. And we would love to see you back here for another great episode of Lioness Lifestyle Live. Goodbye, everybody.